Bush hasn't run for office in 12 years. He hasn't run for office as a challenger in 16 years. The modern Republican Party has changed dramatically in that time period. It's changed dramatically since 2010. You can see the difference between people elected before 2010 and after 2010, and it's night and day. The expectations of what it means to be a Reagan Republican after 2010, after the Tea Party, is much more dramatic on reform, spending, and a hell no on taxes. Before, a lot of that stuff was negotiable, and I'll do the best I can, and we'll see, I don't know, I can't promise you things. The pledge isn't promising you something you can't do. The pledge is, I'll oppose and veto any tax increase. Theoretically, you can be overridden. That's not a violation of the pledge. You're only asked to do what you can do. You're not being asked to accomplish something that would require the House and Senate to agree with you. It's not a promise to cut taxes. It's a promise to veto tax increases. So I think at the end of the day that as a candidate, he'll make the same decision his father made, which was to sign the pledge, and the same decision his brother made, which was to sign the pledge. What he needs to do is look at his father's decision. He won the primary because he took the pledge and Dole wouldn't. He won the general because he said, read my lips, no new taxes, and he was 14 points down when he said that, and he won. But then he broke the pledge and lost the presidency because there wouldn't have been, the guy with the big ears, Ross Perot, would not have been a challenger if there hadn't been the breaking of faith on taxes. His brother never raised taxes. To be fair to his brother, he lived in a pre-Tea Party world where the House and Senate thought that earmarks were a good idea and a sign of virility. And there was no voice in the House or Senate for spending restraint except for the crazy doctor from Oklahoma nobody paid attention to him. And so he allowed spending to drift up. Bush, but he never raised taxes. Now with the Tea Party corrective, the sort of, hey, Republicans, spending too. Modern candidates for office won't raise your taxes, and they'll tell you that, and they'll dramatically fight and reform government to cost less. All of those things happened since Jeb Bush left office. And so it doesn't surprise me or even disappoint me that it's going to take him a while to find his sea legs. But I think he will. He's a smart guy. I wrote a nice piece about him, praising him in National Review when I did an article on him for National Review on that he was, in many ways, he was the Republican winning in a state that was the American future. Florida, older, country's getting older, more Hispanic, country's getting more Hispanic, and he won twice. We should listen to that. So we've worked well together on that stuff. I think on this one he may get tangled up a little bit when somebody says, would you sign the pledge, the question he thinks he's answering is, do you love your father? Because if you sign the pledge, are you dissing dad? You talk to your brother. He worked it out. He was honoring his father and saying, I learned from Reagan's mistake and Bush's mistake that putting taxes on the table means you never get any spending restraint. Once you put taxes on the table, it's like, oh, I have here on the table in this little jar, I have goldfish and a piranha. And we're going to have a goldfish and, oh no, the goldfish are all eaten by the piranha. What happened? If you put on the table tax increases and spending cuts, the tax increases eat all the spending cuts. And when you're done with the negotiation, you go, where are my spending cuts? The tax increases ate them. Happened to Reagan, happened to Bush. You think you're smarter than Bush? Tougher than Reagan? Okay, These guys were not idiots. They were trying to do the impossible, which is to put a tax cut and a spending cut on the table and think you were going to get anything other than all tax increase, all tax increases. So he should talk to dad, he should talk to his brother, and I think he'll do the right thing.